What up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and we are here today, you guys, with another brand new review for Abbott Elementary, you guys, season 4. I believe this is episode 9, and this episode was titled Strike, you guys. So before we go ahead and get into it, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel, and you guys aren't subscribed yet, you guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, you guys, and also by sharing the video. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let us go ahead and get into this episode of Abbott Elementary, shall we? All right, you guys, so before we do go ahead and get into Abbott, we got to first say congratulations are in order to the cast and the crew of Abbott Elementary, because ABC has renewed them for a season 5. So congratulations to them. So we get another season of Abbott Elementary. Now I don't know how many episodes has Abbott had so far, because I think that they're not that okay. So and shout out to the person who let me know in the comments section that I believe we're getting, did it say 22 episodes this season? Shout out to you. But I know somebody left it in the comments, so shout out to that person. So yeah, you guys, we're up to, because what I'm looking at right now is up to 12 episodes, and the 12th episode will air next week. So, and we still got a ways away to May. So yeah, we got a good few episodes. So season 1 had 13 episodes, because I'm trying to see how far they are away from syndication. Season 1 had 13. Season 2 had 22 episodes. Season 3 had 14 episodes, and that was because of the strike. And then this season has 22, 71 episodes. So next season they should be at, no, they'll be short of syndication. If they get 22 episodes for season 5, they'll be short of syndication by a few episodes. Damn. I hope, ABC, because that's one thing when you get a cast like a good show, they only last a good few seasons. I hope Abbott can make it to at least season 7 or 8, maybe even 10, right? I mean, because I enjoy the show. You guys know I enjoy Abbott. It's hilarious to me. So let's get into the episode. So the episode opens and we see Barbara and Melissa, right? And so they're going down to get a manicure and pedicure. And Barbara is talking to Melissa about a woman who thought that a family member was deceased, but the family member was just upstairs asleep. And I had to laugh, because I was like, that sounds insanely familiar. And Melissa said, I know, I was there. It was my house. I say, okay, Barbara is telling you about Christmas at your house when we thought Uncle Racist was upstairs deceased. Hilarious, right? So they get to the nail shop. They walk into the nail shop, and the lady was there. She told them, yeah, I tried to call you guys to let you guys know that there's nobody here to do your nails for you. Melissa didn't answer the phone because she don't answer unknown phone calls or known phone calls. I'm with you. Barbara didn't answer the phone because she just thought it was a confirmation call. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I understand that too, right? So Barbara and Melissa asked for this lady Julie's address, right? And the lady was like, I can't give you that. And they were like, Melissa and Barbara, she was like, I'm gonna find out one way or the other. And she was like, she will. So then we see as Barbara and Melissa got Julie down to Abbott, giving them a pedicure. I hollered. And then Ava and Janine walked in, and Ava was like, what is going on here? But then Ava was like, you know what, let me get in on this too. And Janine said, let her get in on it. And Julie was like, she told Janine, I'm gonna have to charge you extra because of them big ass feet you got. And Janine was like, I'm used to it. So we then see as Ava is talking to the teachers, right? And the strike here, you guys know that the bus started the strike after last week's episode. So she's letting them know that the district, however, is not going to be providing extra buses for the kids to get to school. And I was like, that's terrible. It's horrible. And it's so interesting when you think about it, right? Because I remember me in school. I never am from elementary school, middle school, high school. I never rode the bus. I never walked home. Might have said one time that I walked home from school and I got in trouble. I got in trouble for that because nobody knew that I walked home. So it ain't even a long story. It's a short story. So I am an impatient person. To know me is to know I have a short patience level, right? So what happened is my my mom was late picking me up from school one day, and the thing was she wasn't like super duper late, but it was late enough for me because we got out of school at 3:30, and normally, here's the thing, this is on her too because she didn't tell me that she was going to be late that day. So this is on you, mama, because you didn't tell me that you were going to be late that day. So I think I was in the 6th or 7th grade and got out of school 3:30, right? So 3:30, I'm looking at because I had a watch on, and I'm like, okay, it's 3:35 because my mama's not here. Okay, 3:40, my mama not here. So I was like, should I just walk home? Because I didn't know what to do, right? And I was like, you know what? Because here's the thing. My mom would always be right. Like when I get out of school every day from elementary, middle school, and high school up until I started driving, my mom would already, before I get out of class, we would see her pull up. Especially depending on what class I was in, we could see, like, depending on if I'm in PE or at the end of the day in choir, she would park in places where we could see. And everybody would be like, "Oh, there go your mama." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." So this particular day, she wasn't where I could see her, and I was like, "That's very strange." Like, and I was sitting there wondering, like, did something happen to my mama? Like, ain't nobody telling me nothing. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna walk home, and that's exactly what I did. And here's the other thing. Our home from my middle school, it's about, to get to the school from our home, it was maybe a 5 or 10 minute drive. Yeah, 5 or 10 minutes, give or take, right? With the school zones and all that kind of stuff. And I made it home as she pulled up to the school. And she was freaking out because she didn't know where the hell I was. But luckily enough, one of my friends was still at school, and she was like, "Oh, he walked home." And so that's how she knew I was at home, because this is before cell phones, right? So that's how she knew I was at home, because one of my friends told her I walked home, and then our neighbors across the street saw me, so they were like, "He at home." And baby, I got an earful when she got to that house. But I told her, I was like, "But you didn't say nothing to me. Like, you didn't tell me that you were going to be late. What am I supposed to think? Like, I'm a 12-year-old boy and my mama ain't outside. What am I supposed to think?" So she was like, "Don't you ever do that again." I was like, "Well," I wanted to tell her, "Well, hell, don't you ever leave me there and not tell me what the fuck you gonna do." I ain't say that to you, sister. I didn't say that to her. But I was thinking that in my head, like, well, shit, don't you do that shit ever again yourself. But neither here nor there, right? So I always had the luxury of having a ride to school, and looking at this episode, you realize that a lot of people's parents, they don't. And granted, my mama worked too, but my mom made sure she worked during the day, so that way she could come and get me from school and we can go home. And even if she did have a job where well, she pretty much kept the same job, but if her shift would switch, she would have my aunt pick me up from school. Now, if my aunt picked me up from school, and that was the thing, I was like, you're late. You're never late. If it was my auntie, I'd be like, yeah, I understand that. My aunt was always late picking me up from school. I love my aunt to death, but my auntie was always late picking me up from school. And that's because me and my cousins went to different schools. Like one of my cousins, she was, yeah, one of my cousins went to a different middle school because Day was in middle school too. Well, no, she was in high school. Yeah, so we all went to different schools because one of my cousins is younger than me. She was still in elementary school. One of my cousins, we were in middle school at the same time for a brief period of time, but then she went to high school. So, yeah. But if we went to different schools because we lived in different. I'm getting off track, but it is what it is. You guys know what I'm saying, right? And then in high school, I remember we had a strike in my high school for my principal. You know, they were firing him, and you know they didn't fire him though. They did not fire him that year because we protested against that. And when you think about it, there were certain kids who still ended up going to school during the protest because of being let, not, sometimes, with school, that'd be the only time that they get a good meal and not at home, right? So it's just things to think of. This episode just made me think about a lot of things. So we see Jacob. So Jacob, he made it to school. You guys know Jacob rides the bus, and Melissa didn't even give him a ride because she was talking about that would be she would be a scab if she did. I said, oh my God. So we find out that Ava is on the side of the workers, right? And so somebody asked, where is Morton at? Morton ain't at school because he rides the bus. And they were like, but I thought Morton had a car. They were like, yeah, his wife took it in a divorce. And they were like, I thought she had a car. And they was like, yeah, she took both cars. I said, damn, poor Morton. So then we see Janine. So Janine is teaching her students the solar system, right? And you guys know her kids are more hands-on when it comes to learning. So they're going to be building the solar system and they're going to be acting out the solar system. But with the bus strike, some of her kids ride the bus, so they are missing some planets. And then one of the parents came and dropped off her daughter, and she told Janine, like, girl, this took me, I had to call into work and say I was going to be late. So she might not be coming to school tomorrow. I was like, oh, that's really terrible. It's really sad. So then we move over to Jacob's class. Jacob only has 7 students in his classroom. And then one of his students walked to school and he was like, yeah, Mrs. C, I just, came in just to give you my homework and head home. So that way he can get home before it gets dark. I was like, damn, where the hell does he live? But it's something interesting when you think about walking versus driving or riding the bus, right? Because if you drive, it's not as long. If you walk, it can be longer. If you're out the bus, it could be a little bit longer too, right? Very interesting. So after that, we see Gregory. So Gregory is in for Shanae in the cafeteria, and Abel was like, you got a promotion. And he was like, no, I'm just filling in for Shanae because Shanae rides the bus. And she was like, who the hell is Shanae? I said, oh my God. Abel, who do you know? Now, back with Jacob and Barbara in the teacher's lounge, they're talking about how many kids are missing, right? Or were they talking in the teacher's lounge, or were they just talking? They were talking to Ava at one point they were talking to Ava. And Ava was like, well, why don't y'all just do, long distance, what is it called? The distance, the virtual learning. I can't think of what it's called. Remote learning. And they were like, but we need steady internet for that. And the internet that we stealing from the dude at the deli, he won't even up it. I was like, y'all want that man to up his internet so that y'all can steal the internet to teach to the kids. I mean, I ain't mad at it, But damn, you know, it is interesting because, granted, I'm from a small town. Now I will also say, which I can't really say this. Yes, I can, because I went to summer school 1 year in high school, and I went to the crosstown rival, because that's where summer school they switched it each year. 1 year it would be at my high school. The next year it would be at the crosstown rivals high school, right? So I went to summer school all 4 years of high school. The first year I went is because I fell behind my freshman year and I skipped my freshman year. Second year, sophomore year, I was still playing a little bit of catch up this summer. But by my junior and senior year, I had exceeded. Like junior and senior year, I was actually on track to graduate early. I actually had enough credits and everything to graduate early. I just chose not to because I actually could have graduated a year before. I should have. But my sentimental ass was like, well, I've known everybody in my class since we were little kids, and I was like, I want to graduate with them, walk across the stage with them. I really should have graduated the year before, because I had all the credits to graduate my junior year of high school. Things that just make you looking back on things, you just think about it. Because I didn't do nothing my senior year. I didn't do nothing my senior year of high school. My senior year, I only had one class. Yeah, one actual real class, and that was English. That was English, that I was English 4. I didn't have no other classes besides that. Because I had taken government, I had taken economics the summer before. Where we at? So Ava, she said she's gonna text Oshan, right, for him to come up to the school and update things, right? So Jacob was like, well, he's a terrible texter, and they was like, he's not with me. I was like, Jacob, the man is not gay. He is not interested in you. That's why he don't text you. So then we get to day 2 of the strike, right? And it's gotten worse. Janine's solar system is really lacking, right? So we hear Melissa in her class, right? Actually, that was in the first day where Melissa was listening to the strike and she was cheering. So day 2, Janine is thinking that, they could come to a deal very soon. And Melissa, like I said, happy in her room listening to them because the union walked away from the table. So then we see as Oshan made it down to Abbott, right? Ava was like, Oshan came down here because he has a car. He was like, yeah, I leased a pre-owned. She was like, ugh. Ava is disgusted by that pre-owned. Girl, I love Ava down though. So like I said, Oshan is there to set everything up for the distance learning. So Mr. Johnson said he finna remote clean. I said, oh my God. Now Janine, however, is worried about her students because, again, remember, her students are more hands-on when it comes to learning. So she's wondering, how is this gonna work? Now, we move to Barbara's classroom. So Barbara is sitting right in front of the computer, talking to the kids on the computer, but the kids in the classroom can't see her. So then Barbara stood up to address the kids in the classroom, but then you got this one little girl, her name is, what was her name? What was the baby's name? Hazel, right? So you got Hazel. Hazel is banging pots and pans. So then one of Barbara's students in the classroom was like, Mrs. Howard, can I make music? And so he started beating on the desk and Barbara told him, stop, because you have no rhythm. I said, oh my God. It was hilarious to me. So Barbara then sat back down because she sat back down, and then she was telling, it was a mother who had her derriere in the camera, and Barbara was And shocked, like, whatever the mama's name is, she said, your derriere is in the camera. I said, this is why I can never do any of this stuff, right? It's hard, it's hard enough working. Like, my job, I work from home, as you guys can see. Well, you guys can't see, but my laptop is right beside me, and I have my meet. Like, there are days that I do go into the office, but it'd be a struggle when it comes to days going into the office, right? But then it sometimes do be a struggle, like, with time zones, because with my job, nobody is, like, some managers are central to whatever time zone. Some, like my manager and a manager that I had previously, they are both located in Dallas, right? So that's a good thing. But it's hard when you have a manager who's in a different state, right? Because we have managers in California, we have managers in Atlanta, we have managers, all over, right? And then when the time zone kicks in, it's like, fuck, how are we gonna work this out, right? And then, my apartment too, right? Somebody got a dog that barks all fucking day, so it's also like the elements. Like, I have to deal with the dog barking. I have to deal with the apartment complex is getting built behind me, where you can hear the construction. It's like, it's so much shit you can hear in the background. It'd be like, my God. Then some days you can hear the man out there by the pool blowing the leaves. You can hear him doing whatever he wants to do out there, and it'd be like, what the fuck? And sometimes it just feel like he just sits right there in one particular spot and just, I'm like, go away. Go away. Now we see Jacob. Jacob is teaching to his students, right? And he has one student, Chloe, who she's not able to pay attention. He wants her to get on camera, but she was like, right now, Mrs. C, I can't get on camera because I got a lot of things going on at home. And I was like, oh, that is so sad. So back over with Janine. Janine is still struggling with her kids, right? And the kids at home, they on the screen with cow heads. But the thing with Janine's kids are very young. So they have very short attention spans. And I'm not surprised by that, right? Even with Barbara's kids, right? So Janine was telling the kids, like, you know what? We may just have to give up on the solar system. But one of her kids, her name was Layla. Layla didn't want to give up on the solar system. So, Dad made Janine really think about it, right? So we see Gregory. Gregory is in his class. I think it's like one little boy that's in his class, and then the rest of them are on iPads. I was like, oh, wow, that is very interesting. So O'Shawn came in to make sure everything is good with Gregory. He was like, everything is good. So Gregory got some trash in his hand, and he tossed it in the trash can. And O'Shawn was like, you hoop? And Gregory was like, yeah. He was like, well, why don't you come, hang out with me and some friends. We play basketball before work. He was like, what time? He said 6 a.m. I said, say what now? 6 who? Oh, hell no. Y'all niggas would never see me 6 a.m. It's hard enough for me to get up at 7 a.m. And I go to work at 8. It's hard enough for me to get up at 7 a.m. It's hard enough for me to get up at 7:30, because at one point I was supposed to work from 7:30 until 4:30. That was torture. I couldn't do it. So I done went back to 8 o'clock until 4:30. They don't know. But that, and then sometimes it's 9 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes it's 10 o'clock in the morning. Hell, sometimes it's 11 o'clock before I start working. They don't fucking know. Man, the one thing about my job is I want to go salary, but I don't want to go to a position that I don't really give a hot diggity dog damn about. You know what I'm saying? Neither here nor there. Where we at? So one of Gregory's kids made fun of him, talking about he made a friend, and Gregory took that tablet and sat it face down. Now, we find out that Lila, is her name Layla? She wasn't at school, right? And then the little soul white kid, he was upset about that because, they want to do the solar system, but Layla is not there, right? So Janine feels like something should be done. And Melissa was like, let this run its course. Don't you be a scab. And Janine suggested picking up the kids because she has her CDL license. And Melissa was like, that's being a scab. Don't do that. So then we see as Barbara and Jacob are in the teacher's lounge, right? And they're both talking about the struggles that they're having with their kids. Chloe can't be on camera, and Hazel is being a distraction to the other kids, right? Barbara and Jacob didn't catch on right away. Me and Melissa caught it because Jacob was like, Chloe is trying to deal with one of her siblings who, is causing issues in her class. And I was like, because me and Melissa was like, wait a minute. So Chloe is dealing with her sister in another class that she is, acting up in a little bit. Me and Melissa was like, and then they said the girls' names, and Jacob was like, what is her last name? So Jacob said what the little girl's Barbara said the little girl's last name. Jacob said, that's interesting because my student's last name is that. I was like, ding, ding, ding. They're sisters. And they finally put it together. They're sisters. I was like, y'all didn't catch that long? Me and Melissa were like, we caught that 2 minutes ago. I was like, exactly. Caught it 2 minutes ago. So they figured that if they're teaching both of them at the same time, Chloe can be on camera, and then Hazel is not a distraction towards Chloe. So I was like, okay, cool. So then we see Janine and Gregory. They're down at the bar, right? And she's telling him how happy she is that he made a friend. He was like, why does everybody think I don't have friends? Have you met yourself, Gregory? We don't think you have friends, buddy. So then she asked him, can she come and watch him, play basketball? He says no. So she somehow this strike is bothering her. And now she wishes she could do something. So then we see Ava and her girls pull up in a party bus. And Gregory was like, no. And she was like, And I was like, are you going to try to take this party bus? And she was like, yep, that's exactly what I'm going to do is take the party bus and, drive the kids to school. So the next morning we see as Janine is picking the kids up from school, right? Melissa came to make sure that she does not scab. So it's just the kids only, parents, nobody else is getting on this bus. And two of the dads was like, can you give me a ride to work? And Melissa was like, back the hell up. We ain't doing that, right? So they got to get the kids to school by 7:30 so that the kids can eat breakfast. So we see Jacob and Barbara, and they both have come up with a plan for both Chloe and Hazel. And they're both on Zoom at the same time. So I was like, okay, it works. So we see Janine. So Janine and this party bus, right? So she went one way and her route took her right to where the picket line is, right? And Melissa like, don't you cross that picket line. Don't you even think about it. So Janine found a little shortcut and she got the kids to school on time, right? And that was the end of the episode. Now, on the last end of the episode, we see as Gregory and Janine are in his classroom. He's trying to shoot towards the trash can and missing all of them, right? So Janine came in and tried to, she tried to shoot, and he said, like, not in my house, right? But that was the episode, you guys. If I missed anything, feel free to leave them down in the comments section below, you guys. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, share the video, you guys. And until next time, stay safe, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, be blessed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.